why you wanted to be here today, Curtis?
It's something that is very important to me when it comes to speaking to and helping youth. I was here a few months ago in August, and I spoke in front of the Colorado Public Defender's Office and spoke to them about the necessity when it comes to not just youth, but people that wind up in situations and they need someone to fight for them. I think that outside of the courtroom, that's the same. These kids need someone that's willing to put in the time to fight, and being connected with this organization that does that, that believes in that, I thought it was very important to be here and be a part of it.
What do you want people to know about your story and why you're here today?
So my story is a very public one, especially here in Colorado. I served 24 years in Colorado prisons for a crime I was a part of at the age of 15. And I want people to understand that that's not the definition of a person. People make mistakes, and that mistake, whether they're 15 or 50, isn't a direct reflection of the person that they are. There are still potential for growth, to learn from their mistakes and become better people. And I want people to see that I put in the effort to not just promote or talk about the fact that I've changed, but that I take the time to live out the things that I say and to be a representative for others who have made mistakes and put themselves in bad situations, and just want the opportunity to show that they can be improved, better individuals.
When you look at this group of young boys, what do you think about? What do you want to do? What do you want to tell them? What kind of feelings do you get when you see them?
The honest answer to that is I want to tell them what I wish I had heard when I was their age, and that's the truth. I think you do a very big disservice when you try to mold children into just your view. They're at an age where they are still trying to figure out who they are, develop themselves as an individual, and grow and mature as people. And I like to convey who I was, both as a child when the crime happened and my journey through prison, all the difficulties I've faced, all the hardships I dealt with, in brutal honesty, and just provide them with that insight that maybe helps them, if they wind up in a situation, reflect and be like, well, he went through something like this, or to give them the hesitation that this similar situation kind of led him down a path that I don't want to go down, and hopefully be able to change a life, even if it's just one.
What are some of those things that you wish someone told you as a kid?
The biggest thing is that you are enough. I don't think that children are ever told that. I think that our society has a tendency to tear kids down and make them feel like they aren't enough, and put them in a position where they have to try too hard to prove that they are good enough when they are. They are children, as I've said, that are still learning. They're still growing. Everyone makes mistakes, especially children. We're products of our experiences, and they have to go through these experiences to become who they are and to reach what they're going to be. So I just want them to understand that, and to understand that it's not too late. I've spoken at a juvenile detention facility, and many of those kids conveyed to me that they felt like they had made a mistake and their life was over. You can come back from your worst mistake. I tell everyone that the last mistake that you made isn't the last one you're ever allowed to make. It's just the last one that you made.
Oh, okay. So today, how has it been? How have the workshops been? What have you seen? What's been good about today?
I love the fact that there is a very big element of honesty here. That is something that is very important when you deal with youth. First off, you will never get a child to open up to you until they believe in you. And they will believe in you with honesty. Short of that, they'll tell you enough to get you to leave them alone without ever actually opening up to you. So that's big. The other thing is creating this atmosphere where these kids are empowered to not only empower themselves, but to go out and spread it. We can talk whether it's news related or whatever, about the many instances you see the bad seeds, as they would label them, that can influence children and lead them down a wrong path. But think about the power of taking a good seed and putting it in a position to influence others and take these kids in a better direction. That's a very powerful thing.
Is there any, like, I know this is a hard question to ask, but like broad message that you want people to hold on to after watching this story?
The broad message that I deliver is that it's never done. Life is a difficult struggle, and it takes time and effort in everything. For me, that's what I offer. I'm a person that is now stepping into the realm of social media, and it is for my personal benefit because I am a gamer at heart. I'm labeling myself the oldest free agent esports athlete, seeking to be signed by a team. But my forum is also there so that when I go and speak to these kids, they know you're welcome to come talk to me when I'm streaming. You can come ask questions, continue dialogue. Let me know how your stuff is going. I will stay involved. I will stay with you throughout the process. I'm not just here to talk and walk away and become that guy that said that one thing that one day. I want to be a presence in their lives and a continual presence.
How's it been like being back here in Colorado?
The first time when I came back in August, it was a little more unsettling. My last experience in Colorado wasn't the greatest, but I feel that being here, this is where at the age of 14 and 15, I was running around. This is where I was. And when I talk to these kids, they're running around the same areas, the same neighborhoods that I was in. And they'll be able to relate, I think, and understand when I talk about these things, because they'll be, 30 years later, things have changed, but so much is still the same, and they'll be able to understand the things that I say, I hope.
We appreciate you being here, that's for sure.
I'm always willing, honestly. I tell everybody that, and if anybody asks, I will be on a plane and come back.
We're seeing youth violence rising every year, year to year. What's the message there? What do we need to do about that as adults?
I think as adults, that's a very layered question, because society dictates so many times what people can and cannot do. And I think the one thing that these kids need is time. They need their parents' time. They need their family's time. When, life is forcing you to both have to work very long term and put your child in someone else's hands, or sit in front of social media influencers, they're kind of lost to, in a sense, a system. My wife personally wants to have a child, and I've told her that I won't do that until I can be the father that I want. I don't want to put my child in someone else's hands for 10 hours a day. I want to raise my child and influence my child. And when they don't get it at home, they'll go find it somewhere. And they find it amongst peers, and all of the peers that they find aren't the best influences. So that's the difficulty. There are so many children that might be sitting in YOS right now. They might be sitting in DRDC, either waiting to be charged as adults, maybe being charged as adults, and being looked at as a lost cause. And too many times we pay attention to the end result and not the circumstance that led to that result. A term that I have heard used, and I've heard used by specific district attorneys here, and I won't say names, that's why I was laughing, is that they're able to identify the children that will eventually wind up in prison. And it seems like the funding goes to making sure when they commit that crime, they're locked away for as long as possible, instead of creating preventative measures to make sure they never get to that point where they have to be tried. You can't completely ask the children to change. Change the system, change the family system, change the support system to help them be better. They need the help. We're adults. We've developed into who we are. They need more help than we do.
How did you get to where you are today? It's so difficult. You were 15 years old when everything happened to you. how did you get here? How are you here, you know, speaking, being a keynote speaker, influencing so many kids, having your own TV show? How did you get here?
It was a long, difficult journey, but I got here by taking the hardest look at myself. I served 24 years in prison, and people have their opinions about whether it was too long or not long enough. What people don't understand and what I can convey is that they have to understand that the sentence that I was serving wasn't the one that the courts gave me. I served the sentence that I gave myself, and I imposed that because of the weakness that I recognized that I allowed to dictate my circumstance. I am very blunt and very honest, and I say things that people feel like I shouldn't say. And one of those is that I did not fire the gun that killed an innocent man that night. But I had the power to do the right thing, which was go to someone that could have put a stop to it, and I didn't. And the motto that I carry for myself, my motivation, is that I can look back at that circumstance and say that there was someone that I could have helped, and I failed. I don't ever want to say that again.
You're showing that to these kids here.
I try. I try to do the best that I can. Everything won't be perfect, but I will always try.